presented by Soundlibra.com. Explore more titles via the link in the description or at Soundlibra.com. Let's begin building your confidence today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Confidence Blueprint. I'm Alex, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be embarking on this journey with you all.
And I'm Lisa. It's fantastic to be here. Real quick before we start, we should mention that while we're diving into self-assurance, this show is for educational purposes and isn't a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice.
That's an important note. Now, today we're laying the absolute foundation. We're going to tackle the fundamental question: what exactly is genuine confidence? We'll be exploring what it is, and just as importantly, what it is not. Think of this as discovering the blueprints for building something incredible brick by brick.
That sounds amazing. So many people associate confidence with arrogance or just being loud. Is that what we're debunking today?
Exactly. That's a perfect starting point. Many people confuse genuine confidence with a kind of outward showmanship or bravado. They might see someone who's loud, boastful, or constantly seeking attention and label that as confidence. But true, lasting confidence is something far deeper and more substantial. It's an internal state, not just an external performance.
So, it's not about putting on a mask, then? It's something that comes from within.
Precisely. Genuine confidence is a quiet, steady belief in yourself, your abilities, and your worth. It's about knowing your strengths and accepting your weaknesses, and moving forward with a sense of self-assurance that isn't dependent on external validation. It's not about thinking you're better than everyone else. It's about believing you are capable and worthy, just as you are.
That's a really important distinction. So, if it's not about being the loudest or the boldest, what are the hallmarks of genuine confidence? How would someone recognize it, either in themselves or in others?
Great question. One of the key markers is authenticity. A truly confident person is comfortable in their own skin. They don't feel the need to pretend to be someone they're not to gain approval. They are genuine, and that authenticity shines through.
Authenticity. So, being real and true to yourself. What else?
Another hallmark is resilience. When faced with challenges or setbacks, someone with genuine confidence doesn't crumble. They see obstacles not as insurmountable walls, but as opportunities to learn and grow. They might feel disappointment, of course, but they don't let it define them. They understand that failure is a part of the process, not the end of the road.
That makes sense. Resilience is like having an inner strength that helps you bounce back. So, it's about being true to yourself and being able to handle tough times.
Exactly. And a third crucial element is purpose. Confident individuals often have a clear sense of what they want and why they want it. This sense of purpose fuels their actions and provides direction, making their confidence more than just a feeling. It's a driving force. It's not about having every answer, but about having a direction and trust in your ability to figure things out along the way.
Purpose. So, knowing where you're going and believing you can get there. That sounds so empowering. It truly is an internal blueprint for a fulfilling life.
Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint. Last time we covered the essence of genuine confidence.
So, last episode we talked about confidence as that quiet, inner assurance. I'm eager to understand how we actually grow that. Where do we start with these three pillars?
We start with belief. This is the foundational pillar. It's that deep-seated conviction that you are capable and have value. This belief isn't magical thinking. It's fueled by evidence and experience, which brings us to our second pillar.
Okay, so belief is believing you can. What's the evidence that supports that belief?
That's where competence comes in. Competence is the skill, knowledge, and ability to perform a task successfully. When you gain competence in an area, you gather real-world evidence that supports your belief in yourself.
I see. So if I believe I can learn to play the guitar, my confidence grows as I practice chords and get better. This practice, this doing, is what strengthens my belief. They feed each other.
Precisely. It's a powerful cycle. You believe you can learn, so you put in the effort to become competent. As you demonstrate that competence, your belief strengthens, motivating you to tackle even bigger challenges. But life isn't always smooth sailing. Sometimes things go wrong, and that's where our third pillar, resilience, becomes absolutely vital.
Resilience. That's the ability to bounce back, right?
Exactly. Resilience is your capacity to recover from setbacks, failures, and adversity. It's about not letting a stumble derail your progress or shatter your belief in yourself. It's understanding that challenges are opportunities to learn and grow.
So, we believe we can do something, we work to get good at it, and when we inevitably face a hurdle, we use our resilience to get back up and keep going. It makes so much sense when you break it down like that.
It's truly the core of sustainable confidence. Let's unpack belief a bit more. Often, a lack of confidence stems from a lack of belief in oneself, which can be deeply ingrained. But the good news is belief can be cultivated. It starts with identifying your strengths, acknowledging your past successes, and challenging those inner doubts.
Challenging inner doubts. That sounds like the hardest part for many people. It's easy to focus on what went wrong or what we can't do.
Absolutely. And that's where consciously shifting your focus becomes a powerful tool. When you face a situation where you doubt yourself, ask, what evidence do I have that I can do this? Or what have I done in the past that's similar? Even recalling a time you learned something new can reinforce your foundational belief in your learning capacity. This isn't about ignoring reality, but about actively seeking out the data that supports your potential.
So, it's like being a detective for your own positive qualities and past achievements. You gather the clues that build a stronger case for your capabilities.
That's a perfect analogy, Lisa. And that detective work naturally leads us to the second pillar, competence. How do we build competence? Through practice, learning, and deliberate effort. If your goal is to be a confident presenter, you don't just wish it to happen. You study public speaking, you practice, you get feedback, and you refine your approach. Each successful presentation, each piece of positive feedback builds your competence.
And that competence then becomes the concrete evidence for your belief. It's no longer just a feeling, it's a demonstrated ability. You know you can deliver a great presentation because you've done it before and you've refined the skills.
Exactly. You're building a track record. And this is where we can start to see how these pillars interlock. Your belief fuels the consistent effort required to build competence. Your growing competence then validates and strengthens that initial belief. It creates a virtuous cycle of growth and self-assurance.
I love that. A virtuous cycle. It sounds so much more proactive and empowering than just waiting for confidence to appear.
It absolutely is. But as we mentioned, the journey isn't always linear. Setbacks are inevitable, and this is where resilience truly shines. Think of resilience not as avoiding falls, but as knowing how to get up quickly and effectively. It involves developing a mindset that views challenges as temporary, specific, and learnable.
So, when something doesn't go as planned, perhaps a presentation doesn't land as well as you hoped, or a project faces unexpected obstacles, resilience is about not thinking, I'm just not good enough, but rather, okay, that didn't work as planned. What can I learn from this experience to do better next time?
Precisely. It's about reframing failure. Instead of a judgment on your character or overall ability, it becomes a data point. Resilience allows you to analyze what happened, adjust your strategy, and try again with renewed determination. It protects your belief system from being too easily shaken.
It sounds like these three pillars, belief, competence, and resilience, are profoundly interconnected. You can't really have one without the others for true, lasting confidence.
You've hit the nail on the head. Belief provides the initial spark and the driving force. Competence offers the tangible proof and practical ability. And resilience acts as the shock absorber, allowing you to maintain your belief and continue building competence even when faced with adversity. They're the essential framework upon which genuine confidence is built and sustained.
So, to recap for our listeners, we've learned that genuine confidence isn't just a feeling, but something we actively build. The foundation rests on three key pillars. First, belief in ourselves, our inherent worth and capability. Second, competence, the actual skills and knowledge we develop through practice and learning. And third, resilience, our ability to bounce back from setbacks and view challenges as opportunities for growth. These three work together, reinforcing each other to create a powerful and sustainable inner assurance.
Excellent summary, Lisa. These pillars are not about innate talent. They're skills and mindsets that can be cultivated by anyone. Next episode, we'll delve even deeper into the competence-confidence loop, exploring how continuously fueling your growth directly boosts your self-assurance.
That sounds like a fantastic next step. We've laid a solid foundation today.
Indeed. So, remember, belief, competence, and resilience. They're the three pillars of your confidence blueprint. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint. Today, we're diving into body language.
I'm excited for this, Alex. We often think of confidence as what's happening inside our heads, but you're right, the way we stand and move sends such strong signals. And it's not just to other people, but to ourselves too.
Exactly. Your body is your most accessible tool. It's not about pretending, it's about aligning how you physically present yourself with who you aspire to be. Our first focus is posture. When you think of good posture, what comes to mind?
Standing up straight, shoulders back, not slouching. Pretty straightforward.
Simple, but incredibly effective. When you stand tall, shoulders back, and open your chest, you not only look more confident, you actually feel more confident. This posture can actually increase hormones linked to assertiveness and lower stress hormones. It's like a biological switch.
So, changing how we stand can change how we feel on a deeper level?
Precisely. Picture someone entering a room hunched over versus someone walking in tall. Who do you instinctively see as more confident?
The person standing tall, for sure. They draw you in.
And that's the impact of posture. Try this. Stand in front of a mirror. Notice your usual stance. Now, consciously stand taller. Imagine a string pulling you up from the top of your head. Relax your shoulders down and back, and lift your chest just a bit. Feel that difference?
I do. It feels more open, more ready.
That's the feeling. Make a habit. Even when sitting, sit up straight. Avoid sinking into your chair. This constant physical cue reinforces to your brain that you are capable and self-assured.
Okay, posture is key. What's the next tool in our body language kit?
Eye contact. This is a major one and often a source of anxiety. If you avoid eye contact, you can seem nervous or uninterested. But good eye contact, it builds connection, trust, and shows confidence.
This is tricky. I worry about staring too much or looking away too quickly.
That's a common worry. It's not about a constant stare, but a balanced connection. Try to maintain eye contact for about 60 to 70% of the time in a conversation. This means you look at the other person, then briefly glance away, perhaps as you think, and then reconnect your gaze. It shows you're present and engaged.
So, it's more of a gentle back and forth rather than a hard stare?
Exactly. Think of it as a comfortable exchange. When someone speaks, maintain a steady, warm gaze. When you speak, connect with your listeners' eyes periodically. If you feel anxious, try looking at the bridge of their nose or their eyebrows. It's close enough to feel like connection, but can ease the pressure.
That's a brilliant tip, Alex. It takes the intensity out of it.
It all helps you find a comfortable, confident rhythm. Good eye contact signals that you are open and value the interaction. It's a direct line to building connection.
Posture and eye contact. These are practical things people can start using right away. What else?
Gestures and movement. Our hands can sometimes show nervousness, or they can powerfully support what we're saying. Think of someone who gestures a lot while speaking. It conveys passion and conviction, doesn't it?
Yes, it makes them seem more dynamic and invested in their message.
Absolutely. Natural, open gestures make you appear more approachable, enthusiastic, and confident. Try to avoid fidgeting, like playing with your hair or tapping your fingers, as these can unintentionally signal nervousness.
I catch myself doing that when I'm nervous without even realizing it.
It's a very human thing. The goal is to become aware. When you speak, use your hands to emphasize your key points. Imagine you're illustrating your ideas. Keep your gestures open, with palms facing upwards or outwards rather than closed or pointed. This openness is a sign of confidence.
So, using our hands to help tell the story, instead of letting them fidget or hide.
A perfect summary. And this ties into occupying space. Confident people tend to move and exist in a space comfortably. They don't shrink or stand rigidly. They move with intention.
I can see how that connects to posture too. Standing tall naturally takes up more space.
Exactly. Practice moving with purpose. When you walk, aim for a steady, unhurried pace. Avoid rushing or dragging your feet. It's your body communicating, I am present and I belong here.
It all seems so interconnected. Posture, eye contact, gestures, occupying space that creates a whole confident physical presence.
It really is. An amazing part? When you adopt confident body language, your brain registers that as proof that you are confident. This creates a positive loop. Your actions can directly influence your feelings.
So, to recap for everyone listening, we've learned that our physical presence is a potent tool for building confidence. We started with posture, emphasizing standing tall and open, which not only looks confident, but can actually make you feel it.
Then we discussed eye contact, stressing a balanced, comfortable exchange, aiming for about 60 to 70% of the time to build trust and show you're engaged.
And finally, we covered gestures and movement. Using open, purposeful gestures can enhance your message and make you appear dynamic. Occupying space comfortably and moving with intention signals belonging.
These are powerful, practical tools. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick one or two to focus on. Maybe it's improving your posture or practicing better eye contact in everyday conversations. Small, consistent changes can lead to significant shifts in how you feel and how others perceive you. It's about aligning your actions with your belief in yourself.
It's like giving your inner confidence a way to speak through your body.
That's beautifully said. And next time, we'll explore how building your competence directly fuels that confidence, creating a powerful cycle of growth. Next episode, the Competence-Confidence Loop, fueling your growth. Welcome back. Last time we covered mastering body language. Now let's tackle the Competence-Confidence Loop.
That's right, Alex. In episode 2, we talked about the 3 pillars of confidence: belief, competence, and resilience. Today, we're really focusing on that second pillar, competence, and how it directly feeds into the other two, creating this powerful, self-sustaining cycle.
Exactly, Lisa. Think of it like this. You wouldn't expect to be a master chef without first learning how to chop an onion, right? Or a skilled musician without learning a few basic chords. Competence is built from the ground up, through learning, practice, and mastery. And the more competent you become in something, the more your confidence in that area naturally grows.
So, it's not about just feeling confident, it's about earning it through action and skill development. That makes sense. For listeners who might be new to this idea, can you explain the competence confidence loop in simple terms?
Absolutely. Picture a virtuous cycle, meaning it's a positive feedback loop. It starts with an action related to building competence. You decide to learn a new skill, tackle a challenging task, or improve an existing ability. You take this step, perhaps a small one, and you dedicate effort to it.
Okay, so step one is taking action to build a skill. What happens next?
As you work on that skill, you start to achieve small successes. Maybe you successfully complete a small part of the task. You understand a new concept, or you execute a technique a little better than before. These are your small wins. And these small wins, however tiny, are incredibly important.
So those small wins are the fuel for the loop. They don't have to be monumental achievements.
Not at all. That's the beauty of it. Often, the people who build the most robust confidence are the ones who celebrate those incremental steps. Each small win provides evidence, tangible proof, that you're capable of learning and improving. This evidence starts to build your belief in your own ability.
So the competence from the small win leads to a bit more belief, and that belief is the start of the confidence boost.
Precisely. And here's where the loop really tightens. As your belief grows, even a little, you feel more confident about tackling the next challenge. You're more willing to try harder, to push yourself a bit further, or to take on a slightly more complex aspect of that skill. This leads to more opportunities for competence building.
And then you achieve more small wins, which further bolsters your belief and confidence, right? It's like a snowball rolling downhill.
That's a fantastic analogy, Lisa. A snowball effect. You start with a small amount of competence, achieve a small win, which builds a little confidence. That little bit of confidence encourages you to try something slightly harder. You gain more competence, achieve more wins, and your confidence grows even more. It's a beautiful, self-reinforcing process.
So, the key takeaway here is that competence is the engine. It generates the fuel, the successes and evidence that powers the confidence.
Exactly. And this is why focusing solely on feeling confident without the underlying competence is like building a house on sand. It's not sustainable. Genuine, lasting confidence comes from knowing you can do something, and you know you can do something because you've put in the effort to learn it.
This really resonates with me. I think many people struggle with confidence because they're waiting for a big, grand moment of achievement to feel good about themselves. But what you're saying is that those big moments are built from a series of tiny, consistent efforts.
You've hit the nail on the head, Lisa. The big moments are often the culmination of 1,000 small efforts. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. You didn't just hop on and pedal flawlessly. There were wobbles, maybe a few scraped knees, but each time you got back on, you gain a little more balance, a little more skill. That tiny bit of improvement made you feel a little more confident, urging you to try again.
And I remember that feeling. That moment when you finally rode without falling, that surge of, I did it, fueled the desire to go faster, to go further.
That's the competence-confidence loop in action. Now, this applies to any area you want to build confidence in. It could be public speaking, learning a new language, mastering a craft, or even improving your ability to manage difficult conversations. The principle remains the same.
Let's break down how someone can actively engage with this loop then. If I want to build confidence in, say, public speaking, where do I start?
You start by identifying a very small, manageable step toward competence. It doesn't have to be giving a TED Talk. It could be as simple as practicing saying hello to 3 new people today or reading a short article aloud to yourself, focusing on clear pronunciation. Or if you have a presentation coming up, maybe it's just preparing the opening sentence and practicing it until it feels smooth.
So, break it down into the absolute smallest act of confidence building. And then,
Then you perform that small act. You practice that opening sentence. You speak that short article, you say hello to those 3 people. And afterwards, you acknowledge the win. You tell yourself, I did it. I took that step. I practiced that sentence. This acknowledgement is vital for letting the positive feelings sink in.
It's like giving yourself a mini pat on the back.
Exactly. And then you look for the next small step. If practicing the opening sentence felt good, maybe the next step is practicing the first minute of your presentation. Or if saying hello felt okay, perhaps the next step is asking someone a simple question. The key is to keep the steps small enough that you are highly likely to succeed and to make sure you acknowledge that success.
This makes it feel much less daunting. Instead of, I need to be a confident public speaker, it becomes, I need to practice saying my opening sentence smoothly.
Right? And over time, those small acts of competence build up. Those small wins accumulate. Your belief in your ability to speak publicly grows, and with that growing belief comes increasing confidence. The more confident you feel, the more likely you are to seek out opportunities to speak, which in turn allows you to build even more competence.
It's so powerful because it bypasses the fear of failure. If your competence task is small, the risk of not succeeding is also very small. And even if you stumble, the impact is minimal because it's a small step.
That's a crucial point, Lisa. This loop helps us manage the fear of failure because failure at a small step is rarely catastrophic. If anything, it's a learning opportunity. You tried, it didn't quite work, you learn what went wrong, and you adjust for the next tiny attempt. It's learning by doing in a low-stakes environment.
So, to recap this powerful loop, we start by identifying a very small act to build competence in a desired area. We perform that act, and then we acknowledge ourselves for the small win. This success reinforces our belief in our ability. This boosted belief in turn increases our confidence, making us more likely to take on the next, slightly larger, challenge. And this cycle continues, with each iteration strengthening both our competence and our confidence.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. This competence-confidence loop is not a one-time fix. It's a way of approaching growth and development. It's about consistently showing up, taking small, manageable actions, celebrating those small victories, and allowing them to build a solid foundation of confidence. And remember, it builds on the competence pillar we discussed earlier. It's not just about believing you can, it's about building the evidence that you do have the capability.
It's an active, ongoing process. Building confidence isn't a passive reception of praise or a magical internal shift. It's an earned reward for consistent effort and learning.
And that builds genuine, unshakable confidence. Next episode, Taming the Inner Critic. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint. Today we tackle one of the most formidable obstacles to confidence, taming that nagging inner critic and rewiring negative self-talk.
Oh, the inner critic. It's like having a tiny, pessimistic gremlin living in your head, constantly pointing out every perceived flaw and predicting disaster. It can really undermine all the hard work we've done on belief and competence.
Exactly. This inner critic is often a well-meaning but misguided protector. It might have developed in childhood as a way to avoid criticism from others by criticizing ourselves first. But its methods are counterproductive. It whispers doubts, fuels anxieties, and can paralyze us before we even try. Think of it as an overzealous security guard who sees a threat everywhere, even when there's no danger.
That's a great analogy. So, how do we get this guard to stand down or at least dial it back?
The first step, and this is crucial, is awareness. We have to start noticing when we're engaging in negative self-talk. What are the common phrases your inner critic uses? Does it say things like, you're not good enough, you'll never succeed, or everyone else is better than you? For some, it might be a constant stream of criticism. For others, it might pop up during challenging moments. The key is to become a detective of your own thoughts.
So, just paying attention to those thoughts? It sounds simple, but I can see how easy it is to just get swept away by them.
It really is that first step. Once you're aware, the next is to challenge these thoughts. Are they actually true? Most of the time, negative self-talk is based on assumptions, exaggerations, or outdated beliefs. If your inner critic says, "You're going to fail this presentation," ask yourself, what evidence do I have that I will fail? What evidence do I have that I might actually succeed? Have I prepared? Or are my strengths related to this?
That's the competence part coming back into play. If I've prepared, then the thought, I'll fail, isn't entirely accurate. It's more like a fear, not a fact.
Precisely. And this is where reframing comes in. Instead of accepting the negative thought, we actively replace it with a more balanced and supportive one. This isn't about delusion, it's about constructive realism. So if the critical thought is, "I'm so awkward and everyone can see it," a reframed thought might be, "I feel a bit nervous and that's okay. I'm focusing on sharing my message." Or, "I'm still learning how to present and I'm doing my best."
I like that. It acknowledges the feeling without letting it define the reality. It's like turning the guard from a shouting alarmist into a helpful assistant who points out potential risks, but also the safe pathways.
That's a perfect way to put it. Another powerful technique is to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. Imagine a close friend came to you, distressed about something they felt they did wrong. Would you tell them they're hopeless and will never improve? Of course not. You'd offer support, point out their strengths, and help them see a way forward. We need to extend that same compassion to ourselves.
That's a really important reminder. We're often much harder on ourselves than we are on people we care about. It requires a conscious effort to shift that internal dialogue.
It absolutely does. And it's a practice. Like building competence, taming the inner critic doesn't happen overnight. It takes consistent effort. We can also try to identify the source of the critical thought. Is it a specific past experience? A fear of judgment? Understanding the roots can help us detach from the thought and see it for what it is, a learned pattern, not an inherent truth about ourselves.
So, awareness, challenge, reframe, self-compassion, and understanding the source. That feels like a solid strategy. How do we make this a more ingrained habit so it doesn't feel like such a conscious uphill battle every time?
We can use positive affirmations, but not the generic kind. These affirmations should be grounded in reality and speak to our goals and values. Instead of, "I am amazing," which might feel too disconnected from current reality for some, try something like, "I am capable of learning and growing," or "I am taking steps to improve my skills." These are achievable affirmations that build on competence and belief.
That makes them feel more believable, and perhaps less likely for our inner critic to immediately dismiss.
Exactly. We can also create mental scripts for common challenging situations. If public speaking is a trigger, you might prepare a few go-to phrases you can tell yourself internally beforehand, like, "I am prepared," or "just breathe and focus on my message." These act as mental anchors, guiding you away from spiraling negativity.
So, it's about building a counter-narrative, a more positive and realistic story we tell ourselves.
Precisely. And remember the resilience we discussed earlier? Taming the inner critic is fundamental to building that resilience. When we can manage our negative self-talk, we're better equipped to bounce back from setbacks. Instead of thinking, "I failed, I'm useless," we can think, "That didn't go as planned, but I learned X and I can try Y next time." This shifts the focus from defeat to learning and growth.
It turns a perceived failure into a stepping stone. That's the resilience in action. So, to quickly recap what we've covered today, becoming aware of our inner critic and its negative self-talk, challenging those thoughts by looking for evidence, reframing them into more balanced and constructive statements, practicing self-compassion like we would for a friend, and understanding the source of these critical voices.
And to further solidify these practices, we can use realistic positive affirmations and create mental scripts or anchors for challenging situations. All of this is about developing a more supportive internal dialogue, which directly fuels our resilience and, consequently, our overall confidence. This new way of thinking helps us navigate inevitable challenges with less self-doubt and more self-belief.
It's like reprogramming that overzealous security guard to be a reliable partner, helping us see the opportunities while still being mindful of potential issues, but without causing a full-blown panic.
A perfect summary, Lisa. Next episode, we'll explore how to navigate the inevitable bumps in the road as we discuss strategies for handling rejection.
Next episode, Navigating the Storm, Strategies for Handling Rejection.
Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint. Last time, we delved into taming that relentless inner critic. Today, we're tackling rejection.
Rejection. Just hearing the word can bring up a lot of feelings, can it? It's something we all experience, and it can feel like a direct attack on our worth.
Exactly. And that's precisely why it's a critical topic for our confidence journey. Remember in episode 2, we talked about the 3 pillars of confidence: belief, competence, and resilience. Today's episode is all about strengthening that resilience muscle, specifically when it comes to rejection. We're going to explore how to process it constructively, learn from it, and prevent it from chipping away at our self-belief.
So, it's not about avoiding rejection, but about building a stronger response to it?
Precisely. Think of it like this. Resilience is your inner shield. When rejection hits, instead of letting it shatter you, a resilient person uses it as a stepping stone. So, let's start with understanding what rejection feels like and why it stings so much.
As humans, we're wired for connection and acceptance. When we face rejection, our brain can interpret it as a threat to our social standing. This is why the emotional response can be so intense, often mirroring physical pain.
That's a great point, Lisa, about the primal nature of it. And that primal response can trigger a cascade of negative thoughts. Suddenly, that one instance of rejection can feel like proof that we're not good enough. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, absolutely. The inner critic really goes into overdrive. It's like it found the ultimate ammunition.
It does. And that's why our first strategy is all about recognizing and labeling the feeling without judgment. When you feel that sting of rejection, pause for a moment. Instead of just letting the wave of emotion wash over you, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling disappointed right now. Or this feels like rejection, and that's understandable. This act of labeling helps to create a little distance between you and the emotion, giving you more control.
So, instead of thinking, I'm a failure because I didn't get that promotion, it's more like, I'm feeling disappointed about not getting the promotion, and that's a normal reaction.
Exactly. You're not denying the feeling, but you're also not letting it define your entire self-worth. After acknowledging the feeling, the next crucial step is to reframe the narrative. Rejection is rarely a reflection of your overall worth. It's usually about specific circumstances, timing, or mismatch of needs.
That's a tough mental shift. How do we actively reframe it?
One powerful way is to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This shifts the focus from the painful outcome to a valuable insight. For instance, if you were rejected for a job, ask yourself, was my resume tailored enough? Could I have prepared better for the interview? Was the role truly the right fit? This transforms a setback into a learning opportunity, directly building your competence, another one of our foundational pillars.
So, we're looking for actionable takeaways instead of dwelling on the why me question.
Precisely. And sometimes the learning isn't about what you did wrong, but about recognizing that it just wasn't the right fit. This leads to our next strategy, detaching your self-worth from the outcome.
This is where it gets tricky for many of us. How do we separate our value as a person from whether we succeeded or failed in a particular situation?
It comes back to those core beliefs we talked about. Remember, we said genuine confidence isn't about being perfect or always succeeding, but about knowing your inherent worth. When rejection hits, remind yourself of all the reasons you are valuable, independent of this one event. Think about your strengths, your positive qualities, and past successes. Maybe keep a wins journal or a list of affirmations handy for those tough moments.
A wins journal. I love that. It's like a concrete reminder of all the times you weren't rejected or where you succeeded despite challenges.
Exactly. And it's also about surrounding yourself with supportive people. Who are the individuals in your life who see your worth, even when you're struggling? Talking to a trusted friend, family member, or mentor can provide valuable perspective and emotional support. They can remind you of your strengths when your inner critic is being particularly loud.
It's like having an external confidence anchor, isn't it? Someone who reflects your value back to you.
A perfect analogy, Lisa. Now, let's talk about another practical strategy, setting realistic expectations. If you're putting yourself out there, whether it's for a new opportunity, a creative endeavor, or a social connection, it's healthy to acknowledge that rejection is a possibility. This doesn't mean expecting it, but being mentally prepared for it can soften the blow if it occurs.
So, it's like not going into a difficult exam expecting to ace it without studying. You anticipate the effort and potential challenges.
That's right. And this leads us to the concept of graceful recovery. What do you do immediately after facing rejection? Do you retreat and isolate yourself? Or do you take steps to rebuild? Graceful recovery involves actively choosing constructive actions. This might mean taking a short break, engaging in a self-care activity you enjoy, or immediately diving into strategy number one, learning from the experience.
It sounds like a conscious decision to move forward, rather than letting rejection paralyze you.
Precisely. And sometimes, the most effective way to handle rejection is to simply acknowledge that it happened, learn what you can, and then pivot your energy. Focus your efforts on opportunities where you have a greater chance of success or where your skills are a better match. Don't waste precious energy trying to convince someone or something that wasn't meant to be.
So, we've talked about acknowledging the feeling, reframing the narrative by looking for lessons, detaching our self-worth from the outcome, seeking support, setting realistic expectations, engaging in graceful recovery, and pivoting our energy. That feels like a comprehensive toolkit.
It is. And remember, these are skills that get stronger with practice. Every time you navigate rejection with these strategies, you're building a more robust sense of confidence. You're proving to yourself that you can handle the ups and downs, that you can learn and grow, and that your worth is not determined by external validation.
It's about internal validation, then. Confidence is built from within, and how we process these difficult experiences is a huge part of that.
Absolutely. Rejection is not the opposite of success. It's often a stepping stone on the path to it. By learning to navigate these storms with resilience and a constructive mindset, you not only protect your confidence, but actively build it.
So, to recap for our listeners, when you encounter rejection, remember to first, acknowledge and label the emotion without judgment. Second, reframe the experience by asking, what can I learn? Third, detach your self-worth from the specific outcome. Fourth, lean on your support system. Fifth, set realistic expectations. And finally, practice graceful recovery and pivot your energy.
Excellent summary, Lisa. By consistently applying these strategies, you'll transform rejection from a confidence-crushing event into a valuable catalyst for growth and a testament to your inner strength.
It's empowering to think of it that way. Rejection is inevitable, but our response to it is entirely within our control.
And that control is where genuine confidence truly thrives. Next episode, Conquering the Stage Fright, Public Speaking Power. Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint. Last time, we explored how to navigate the sting of rejection. Today, we're diving into something that makes many people's palms sweat: public speaking. Get ready to conquer that stage fright.
Oh, Alex, you hit the nail on the head. Just thinking about speaking in front of a group can bring on the jitters. I'm really curious to hear your strategies for turning that fear into confident delivery.
Absolutely, Lisa. And it's a common fear. In fact, there's a term for it: glossophobia. It's the fear of public speaking, and it affects a huge number of people. But the good news is it's completely conquerable. It's a perfect blend of building our competence in preparation and managing that inner critic we talked about earlier.
So, it's not just about memorizing lines, then? It's about a deeper kind of preparation.
Exactly. True confidence in public speaking comes from two main areas: knowing your material inside and out, and mastering your mindset. Let's start with preparation, what I like to call building your competence wall. This wall is built brick by brick with thorough research and practice.
Okay, competence wall. I like that. So, what's the first brick?
Know your audience. Seriously, this is fundamental. Who are you talking to? What are their interests? What do they already know? Tailoring your message to your audience makes you more relatable and engaging. Imagine trying to explain quantum physics to a group of kindergartners. It's not going to land well, right? But if you simplify it, use analogies, suddenly it becomes accessible.
That makes sense. So, it's about speaking to them, not just at them.
Precisely. The next brick is structuring your presentation. A clear beginning, middle, and end is crucial. You need an engaging introduction that grabs attention, a well-organized body where you present your main points logically, and a strong conclusion that summarizes and leaves a lasting impression. Think of it like telling a story. Every good story has a setup, a rising action, and a resolution.
An engaging hook, clear points, and a memorable takeaway. Got it. What about the actual content? This is where a lot of people get stuck, worrying they don't know enough.
That ties back to our competence pillar. Your content should be something you're knowledgeable about or have thoroughly researched. Don't try to wing it. When you know your subject matter, you feel more secure. And here's a tip: focus on a few key messages rather than trying to cram too much information in. 3 to 5 main points are usually plenty for most presentations. Trying to cover too much can overwhelm both you and your audience.
So, less is more when it comes to the number of core ideas?
Definitely. Now let's talk about practice. This is where the competence wall truly gets sturdy. Practice out loud, not just in your head. Record yourself, even if it feels awkward. You'll catch filler words like and and you'll hear how your sentences flow. Practice in front of friends, family, or even your mirror. The more you rehearse, the more natural it will feel.
Recording myself sounds terrifying, but I can see how valuable it would be. It's like getting a preview before stepping onto the actual stage.
Exactly. And it helps build that feeling of competence, which directly boosts your confidence. Now, let's shift gears to the second major area: managing your mindset. This is where we tackle the inner critic and those physical symptoms of nerves.
Ah, the butterflies. Or are they pterodactyls?
Sometimes it feels like pterodactyls. The first step is reframing those nerves. Instead of thinking, "I'm so nervous," try thinking, "I'm excited." The physical sensations of nerves and excitement are very similar. Your heart beats fast, your palms might sweat. By labeling it as excitement, you're channeling that energy positively. You're not scared. You're energized for the opportunity to share your message.
That's a clever reframing. So, my body is reacting, but I get to choose what that reaction means.
You absolutely do. Another powerful technique is deep breathing. Before you go on, or even during a pause, take slow, deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth. This calms your nervous system. It signals to your brain that you're safe and in control.
I've heard of deep breathing, but I always forget to do it when I'm actually feeling anxious.
It takes practice, just like public speaking itself. Make it a habit to do it before any stressful situation. Now, let's talk about visualization. Before your speech, close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself delivering the presentation successfully. See yourself feeling confident, connecting with the audience, and receiving positive feedback. The more detailed you make this mental rehearsal, the more real it becomes for your brain.
So, I'm essentially pre-living the success. That feels powerful.
It is, and it directly combats those negative self-talk loops we discussed in episode 5. Instead of dwelling on what if I mess up, you're actively creating a mental blueprint of I will succeed. Another key is to remember that perfection isn't the goal. The audience isn't there to critique your every move. They're there to learn or be entertained. A minor stumble, a forgotten word, these are human. It's how you recover that matters.
You mean if I draw a blank, it's not the end of the world?
Not at all. Take a breath, smile, and either rephrase what you were saying or glance at your notes. Often, the audience won't even notice unless you draw attention to it. Authenticity is far more important than flawless delivery. People connect with real people.
Being authentic. That takes some of the pressure off trying to be some kind of perfect orator.
It really does. So, to recap, we've built our competence wall through understanding our audience, structuring our message, and thoroughly researching our content. We've fortified it with ample practice, including recording ourselves. Then, we've learned to manage our mindset by reframing nerves as excitement, using deep breathing, vivid visualization, and embracing authenticity over perfection.
It feels like a comprehensive approach, Alex. It's not just about the words, but also about how we prepare our minds and bodies. Building that competence through preparation and then managing our internal dialogue seems like a solid blueprint for tackling stage fright.
That's exactly the goal, Lisa. By focusing on both preparation and mindset, you transform public speaking from a terrifying ordeal into an opportunity to share your voice and connect with others. Remember, every speaker you admire started somewhere, and many of them face these same fears.
So, even if the butterflies are doing a triple somersault, we have concrete steps to take control.
Absolutely. Next episode, we're going to tackle another very common anxiety, navigating the social arena and overcoming social anxieties.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm looking forward to guiding you through it. Keep building your confidence. Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint. Last time, we dove deep into conquering stage fright and empowering your public speaking. Now, let's tackle a challenge many listeners face, navigating the social arena and overcoming social anxieties.
That's right, Alex. Public speaking is one thing, but often the everyday social interactions, parties, networking events, even just striking up a conversation with a stranger can feel like just as big a hurdle, if not bigger, for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And it's completely understandable. Social situations involve a unique set of pressures. You're not just presenting information. You're managing impressions, interpreting cues, and fearing judgment. It's a complex dance, and when confidence wavers, social anxiety can easily take root.
So, where do we begin unpacking this? What exactly is social anxiety, and how does it tie into our confidence journey from previous episodes?
Let's start with the core. Social anxiety is essentially a persistent fear of being watched, judged, or negatively evaluated by others. This fear can lead to avoiding social situations or enduring them with intense discomfort. For our listeners, think back to episode 5, where we discussed taming the inner critic. That inner critic can become particularly loud and harsh in social settings, pointing out every perceived flaw or awkward moment.
That makes perfect sense. My inner critic loves a good party to pick apart my every word and gesture. So, the negative self-talk we learned to manage before is a key player here.
Exactly. And remember episode 3, where we mastered body language. Effective body language is crucial for projecting confidence and making others feel at ease, but social anxiety can manifest physically. We might slouch, avoid eye contact, or fidget nervously, inadvertently signaling discomfort even if we don't want to. This can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. We worry about appearing nervous, so our body language becomes nervous, which makes us feel more nervous.
It's a tough cycle to break. So, for someone experiencing this, what are the first practical steps they can take to start loosening the grip of social anxiety?
The foundational step is understanding that your thoughts are often not facts. Just because you think everyone is judging you doesn't mean they are. This is where cognitive restructuring, the technique we touched upon in episode 5, becomes incredibly powerful. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm going to say something stupid, challenge it. Ask yourself, what's the evidence for that? What's the evidence against it? What's a more balanced way to think about this situation?
So, instead of accepting the anxious thought as truth, we actively question it and look for a more realistic perspective. That's a great reminder of that previous concept being applied here.
Precisely. Another vital strategy is gradual exposure, or what we call fear laddering. We break down daunting social situations into smaller, more manageable steps. Instead of aiming to be the life of the party on your first go, start with something less intimidating.
Can you give us an example of how that might look?
Certainly. Let's say the idea of striking up a conversation with a stranger at a coffee shop feels overwhelming. Your fear ladder might start with simply making eye contact and smiling at the barista. The next step could be asking a brief, low-stakes question like, "How's your day going?" or "Do you know if they have oat milk?" Then, it might progress to a slightly longer interaction, like commenting on the weather or asking for a recommendation. Each small success builds confidence and desensitizes you to the anxiety.
I like that. It's about small wins building momentum. So, it's not about instantly becoming a fearless social butterfly, but about progressively getting more comfortable.
Exactly. And during these interactions, actively focus on the other person. People generally appreciate genuine interest. Ask open-ended questions about them, what they're passionate about, what they enjoy. This shifts your focus away from your own internal anxiety and onto engaging with someone else. It's a fantastic distraction and a way to build connection.
That's a brilliant tip. Taking the spotlight off yourself and putting it on the other person can really ease the pressure. What about when you're in a situation where you feel overwhelmed, perhaps at a large gathering?
In those moments, it's important to have self-compassion and recognize you're feeling anxious. You don't need to pretend you're not. Sometimes a short, planned break can be incredibly effective. Find a quieter spot for a few minutes, take some deep breaths. Remember those breathing techniques from episode 7 in our public speaking section? They work just as well here. You can even give yourself a pep talk. I'm feeling anxious, but I can do this. I'll rejoin the group in a few minutes.
So, it's not about fleeing, but about a strategic, short pause to regroup. And integrating those previous tools, like breathing exercises, is key.
Indeed. And when it comes to building connections, remember the competence aspect we discussed in episode 2. You don't need to be an expert conversationalist overnight. Focus on developing your skills in areas you're genuinely interested in. When you have something you're knowledgeable and passionate about, it becomes easier to talk about it confidently. Share what you enjoy, and you'll naturally attract like-minded people.
That's a great link back to competence being a pillar of confidence. It's not just about feeling good, but about having something genuine to offer in conversations.
Absolutely. And importantly, don't view every social interaction as a test. Not every conversation needs to be profound or lead to a lifelong friendship. Sometimes a simple, pleasant exchange is all that's needed. Lower the stakes for yourself. The pressure to be witty or impressive can be paralyzing. Aim for pleasant and connected instead.
Pleasant and connected. I like that. It feels much more achievable than trying to be the most charismatic person in the room.
Exactly. And Lisa, we've mentioned the inner critic multiple times. Another facet of social anxiety is overthinking past social blunders. We replay awkward moments in our heads, which fuels future anxiety. The key is to acknowledge them, learn from them if there's a lesson, and then let them go. They are learning experiences, not lifelong judgments. Think of them as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
So, to recap what we've covered today on navigating the social arena and overcoming social anxieties, we tied social anxiety back to the inner critic from episode 5 and body language from episode 3. We stressed the importance of challenging anxious thoughts, not accepting them as facts. We introduced the concept of gradual exposure, or fear laddering, for tackling challenging social situations step by step. We emphasized shifting focus to the other person by asking genuine, open-ended questions. We discussed having self-compassion and taking strategic breaks when feeling overwhelmed. We linked building social competence to areas of genuine interest and passion. And finally, we suggested lowering the stakes, aiming for pleasant and connected interactions, and learning to let go of past social blunders.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Mastering social anxieties is a journey, not a destination. By applying these principles, actively practicing, and showing yourself kindness, you can absolutely build genuine confidence in social settings.
It's empowering to know we have these tools. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Lisa. And for all our listeners, keep applying these strategies. Remember, the goal is progress, not perfection. Next episode, breaking free from the comparison trap. Welcome back. Last time we covered overcoming social anxieties. Now, let's tackle the comparison trap.
Oh, the comparison trap. It feels like it's everywhere these days, doesn't it? Especially with social media constantly showing us everyone else's highlight reels.
Exactly. It's so easy to scroll through feeds and see what seems like perfect lives, perfect jobs, perfect relationships, and then fall into the trap of thinking, why aren't I there yet? This directly impacts that self-belief we talked about way back in episode 1.
You're right. That foundational element of believing in yourself gets easily chipped away when we're constantly measuring ourselves against others' curated versions of reality. So, Alex, what are the real dangers of falling into this comparison trap?
The biggest danger is that it steals our joy and our focus. When we're busy looking sideways at what others have or what they've achieved, we stop appreciating our own progress. We stop celebrating our own unique journey. It fuels feelings of inadequacy, envy, and can lead to a real erosion of our self-worth. Think of it like this. If you're trying to run a race, but you keep stopping to look at how fast the person next to you is running, you're going to slow yourself down. You're not focusing on your own pace, your own stride, your own finish line.
That's a great analogy. It distracts us from our own path, and it can make us feel like we're not good enough, even if we've made significant progress.
Precisely. This constant comparison can also lead to something we touched on in episode 5, that negative self-talk. That inner critic starts whispering things like, they're so much more successful, or I'll never be as good as them. It reinforces a belief that we're somehow falling short, even when that's just not true. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy if we let it be.
So, how do we break free from this? Because it feels so ingrained in our modern lives.
The first step, as you mentioned, is awareness. Recognizing when you're doing it. So, when you find yourself scrolling through social media and a feeling of envy or inadequacy creeps in, pause. Ask yourself, am I comparing myself right now? Simply noticing the behavior is a powerful first step.
Okay, so awareness is key. What comes next after we recognize we're in the trap?
Next, we need to consciously shift our focus inward. This is where the principles of competence and resilience we discussed in episode 2 come into play. Instead of looking at others' outcomes, look at your own process. What did you learn today? What skill did you practice? What challenge did you overcome, no matter how small? Celebrate the learning and the effort, not just the perceived end result of others.
So, instead of their vacation looks amazing, it becomes, I worked really hard this week, and I'm proud of completing that challenging project.
Exactly. It's about reframing our successes. We also need to actively cultivate gratitude for what we have and what we can do. This might sound simple, but practicing gratitude really shifts your perspective. When you're truly thankful for your own strengths, your own opportunities, and your own journey, there's less room for comparison.
I love that. Gratitude is such a powerful antidote. It reminds us of our own abundance, even if it looks different from someone else's.
Absolutely. And remember that resilience we talked about? Bouncing back from setbacks is a huge part of building confidence. When you compare yourself to someone else, you might be comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to their highlight reel. Realize that everyone faces challenges. Their apparent success often comes after their own set of obstacles, maybe ones you don't see. Focusing on your own ability to navigate difficulties builds genuine confidence, rather than relying on an external comparison.
That's so important. We don't see the full picture of anyone else's life. Plus, as you mentioned earlier, it's about our unique journey. Everyone's path is different.
Precisely. Embrace your unique journey. Your timeline is your own. Your strengths are your own. Your growth is your own. Focus on self-improvement, not self-disparagement based on others' perceived achievements. Another powerful technique is to curate your digital environment. If certain accounts or types of content consistently make you feel inadequate, it's okay to unfollow, mute, or limit your exposure. Your mental well-being is more important than keeping up with every single update from everyone.
That's a really practical tip. Taking control of what we consume online makes a huge difference. It's not about being negative, it's about protecting our own peace and confidence.
Exactly. And finally, remember that comparison is often a sign that you have desires or goals that you haven't yet translated into action. If you see someone with a skill you admire, instead of feeling envious, see it as inspiration. What small step can you take to start developing that skill? This connects back to the competence-confidence loop from episode 4. Building competence is the best way to silence the comparison.
So, to summarize for our listeners, the comparison trap is a major confidence killer because it steals our joy, fuels negative self-talk, and makes us focus on external validation rather than our own journey and growth.
Right. And to break free, we need to 1. Be aware of when we're comparing. 2. Consciously shift our focus inward to our own progress, our own efforts, and our own learnings. 3. Cultivate gratitude for our own circumstances and abilities. 4. Remember that everyone faces challenges and focus on our own resilience. 5. Embrace and celebrate our unique journey and timeline. 6. Curate our digital environment to protect our well-being. And 7. Use comparison as a signal for inspiration and a prompt to build our own competence.
It really boils down to cultivating a strong internal compass rather than constantly looking at others for direction. It's about building that genuine self-assurance from the inside out.
Absolutely, Lisa. This is a vital step in building truly unshakable confidence. By focusing on our own path and progress, we can silence the noise of comparison and build a stronger, more authentic sense of self-worth.
That's incredibly helpful, Alex. It's a powerful reminder of how much control we actually have over how we feel about ourselves.
Next episode, anchoring your confidence, daily habits, and challenges. Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint, Episode 10. We're solidifying our foundation. Last time, we tackled the comparison trap. Today, we're focusing on how to anchor your confidence consistently.
Anchoring confidence. It sounds so robust, Alex. Life throws curveballs, so having those solid points of reference is key. How do we build them?
Confidence is an ongoing practice, like maintaining any skill. Today, we'll focus on daily habits and challenges that keep your confidence strong and build momentum through consistent action.
Turning confidence into a habit makes perfect sense. It's about reinforcing our belief in ourselves daily, not just relying on big wins.
Precisely. We need to revisit the competence-confidence loop. Remember how building competence increases confidence, which then motivates more challenging tasks, further increasing competence?
Yes, it's a virtuous cycle where capability builds belief, and belief fuels more capability.
That loop fuels our daily anchoring. We intentionally create opportunities for micro-competence building.
Microcompetence building, I love that. What does it look like?
It's identifying one small, achievable, and measurable thing to learn or improve daily. Maybe using a new word or trying a new spice in cooking.
So, not mastering gourmet cooking overnight, but successfully making a perfect omelet.
Exactly. And the crucial next step is acknowledging that win. Tell yourself, yes, I did that. We often overlook our small accomplishments.
That's so true. We focus on what we didn't do. We need to retrain ourselves to recognize and appreciate small steps.
Absolutely. Habit 1. Micro-competence, building and intentional acknowledgement. Habit 2. Engaging in low-stakes challenges. These push you slightly outside your comfort zone with minimal consequences.
Low stakes challenges. What are some examples?
If public speaking is a fear, it could be speaking up once in a meeting. For social anxiety, initiating a brief conversation. These are deliberate exercises in facing fear.
And the act of doing it, of handling that small discomfort, proves to yourself that you can cope.
Precisely. You build a mental library of successes. This also builds resilience. What happens when a low-stakes challenge doesn't go perfectly?
It's a learning opportunity. We analyze, adjust, and try again without letting it derail our self belief.
You've got it. Habit 3. Reframing setbacks as data. Instead of I'm inadequate, it's this approach didn't work. What else can I try?
That's a much more constructive and empowering perspective. This method isn't effective. Let me explore other options.
Exactly. Habit 4. Curate your inputs. Be intentional about what you consume and who you spend time with.
So, surrounding ourselves with supportive, inspiring people and limiting negativity or undermining influences.
That's a perfect summary. Seek out those who nurture your confidence, like tending a garden.
Love that analogy. What's the fifth habit?
Habit 5. Mindful posture and movement. Even alone, adopting a confident posture can influence your internal state. Stand tall.
It's amazing how physical stance affects our mental state. So, to recap, microcompetence with acknowledgement, low stakes challenges, reframing setbacks, curating inputs, and confident posture.
That's a solid set of daily practices. Now, let's incorporate periodic, deliberate challenges to accelerate growth. These are like the heavier training sessions.
If daily habits are reps, challenges are the heavier sets or endurance runs.
Precisely. A challenge should be just outside your comfort zone, requiring genuine effort. It amplifies the competence-confidence loop.
What kind of challenges are we thinking of?
For leadership skills, it could be leading a small project. For assertiveness, voicing a different opinion in a group.
Completing these challenges, even imperfectly, builds a confidence that comes from knowing you can step up.
Absolutely. It's about proving you can handle more than you thought. Setting goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, which require you to stretch, is also effective.
When you complete a challenge, it's about the process, learning, overcoming obstacles, and reinforcing your belief in growth.
Don't underestimate constructive feedback during challenges. It's valuable for growth and boosts confidence when you see improvement is possible.
So, Challenges stretch us, push us to learn and do more, becoming powerful anchors for our confidence. They're tangible proof of our capability.
This is anchoring your confidence, a proactive, ongoing process. Build a consistent foundation with daily habits, then reinforce it with deliberate challenges that demonstrate expanding capabilities.
So, it's not just moments of confidence, but building daily habits and layering on challenges for growth and powerful memory anchors of success.
You've got it perfectly. This moves from fleeting feelings to deep, unshakable certainty.
This has been incredibly practical, Alex. Sustained confidence feels achievable.
And that's the goal. Next episode, we'll discuss tracking progress with our confidence portfolio. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint. Episode 11 is here.
That's right, Alex. Last time, we discussed building essential daily habits to anchor your confidence. It's all about making confidence a natural part of our lives.
Exactly. And today we're talking about building your confidence portfolio. Think of it as creating a personal record of your growth, celebrating your wins, and learning from every experience.
A confidence portfolio? So, it's not just about feeling confident, but also having proof of our capabilities?
Precisely. Remember in episode 2, we talked about the pillars of confidence: belief, competence, and resilience. This portfolio directly addresses all three. It deepens our belief in ourselves.
Okay, so how do we start building this portfolio? What goes into it?
The beauty of it is its flexibility. You can tailor it to what works best for you. But broadly, it should include three key components: your achievements, your overcome challenges, and your learned lessons.
Let's break that down. First, achievements. Sometimes we tend to downplay our successes, don't we?
We absolutely do. This is where the portfolio becomes vital. We need to actively record our achievements, no matter how small they seem. Did you complete a difficult task? That's an achievement. Did you have that tough conversation? Achievement. Stick to your healthy eating plan for a week. Another achievement.
So it's about recognizing progress, not just grand success.
Exactly. We need to train our brains to notice and value these moments. You can log these in a notebook or a digital document. For each achievement, try to know what you did, what skills you used, and how it made you feel. This reinforces the competence-confidence loop we discussed in episode 4.
That makes sense. By documenting how we succeeded, we're reinforcing our competence. What about the second component? Overcome challenges.
This is where resilience shines. Life throws curveballs, and our ability to navigate them is a massive confidence builder. This section is about acknowledging the times you faced adversity and pushed through. Think about a situation where you felt overwhelmed. What did you do to cope? What small steps did you take?
So it's about the process of overcoming?
Precisely. It's about recognizing your strength in facing difficulty. Did you feel fear but speak up anyway? Did you experience doubt but take action? Documenting these instances serves as powerful evidence of your inner strength. It tells you, I've been in tough spots before, and I found a way through. I can do it again. This combats the negativity of the inner critic we tackled in episode 5.
That's a great point. When we're in the middle of a challenge, it's easy to forget we've navigated difficult waters before. Having this record would be like a roadmap of our own resilience.
Exactly. And the third component, learned lessons, ties everything together. Every experience, whether a success or a struggle, offers valuable insights. This part of your portfolio is about reflecting on what you've learned. What strategies worked? What didn't? What did you learn about yourself?
This is where we actively process our experiences to fuel future growth. Instead of dwelling on mistakes, we extract wisdom.
Couldn't have said it better. For instance, if you tried a new networking approach that didn't yield immediate results, your portfolio entry might focus on what you learned about preparation, or perhaps that you discovered a new way to connect that wasn't initially intended. This is how we engage with the competence-confidence loop.
So, to recap, we have achievements, overcome challenges, and learned lessons. How do we make this portfolio truly effective?
Great question. The key is regular engagement and consistent review. I recommend setting aside a specific time to revisit your portfolio. Read through your achievements, remind yourself of your resilience, and reflect on the lessons learned. This active reviewing is an active confidence booster.
It's like tending to a garden. You have to water it and nurture it to see it grow.
A perfect analogy. And this isn't about bragging or creating an inflated ego. It's about honest self-appreciation. It's about building a realistic understanding of your capabilities. Remember episode 9 about breaking free from the comparison trap? This portfolio is a powerful antidote to that. It keeps your focus squarely on your journey and your strengths.
So, instead of looking at what others are doing, we have this personal record that shows us how far we've come. This sounds incredibly helpful during moments of self-doubt.
Absolutely. When you're feeling unsure, you can open your confidence portfolio and be reminded of your past successes, your inherent resilience, and the wisdom you've already gained. It's a powerful anchor. It reinforces the belief that you are capable.
So, to summarize for our listeners, building a confidence portfolio is about creating a personal record of your journey. This record should include your achievements to reinforce your confidence, your overcome challenges to highlight your resilience, and your learned lessons to ensure continuous growth. Regularly reviewing this portfolio keeps these vital aspects of your confidence front and center, acting as a powerful tool against self-doubt and comparison.
You've got it, Lisa. This portfolio is the physical manifestation of your growing confidence. It's concrete proof that you are capable of so much. It's the evidence you need when your inner critic tries to tell you otherwise. It's about acknowledging your own power.
And as we move into our final episode, this idea of a confidence portfolio really sets the stage for integrating everything we've learned. It's the culmination, a way to see all the pieces of the blueprint in action.
Indeed, the final episode will be about tying it all together. We'll talk about how to integrate your confidence blueprint into an unshakable sense of self-assurance. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Confidence Blueprint. This is episode 12, the final installment.
And what an incredible journey it's been, Alex. We've explored the very foundations of confidence, from understanding its core components to mastering our minds, bodies, and social interactions.
That's right, Lisa. We've laid out the blueprint, piece by carefully considered piece. Now, in this final episode, our goal is to bring it all together. We want to talk about how to integrate everything we've learned, turning this blueprint into a living, breathing part of who you are. We're aiming for that unshakable you.
Integrating it all, that sounds like the real challenge, doesn't it? It's one thing to learn about confidence, to understand the concepts, but another entirely to make it a consistent, automatic part of our lives.
Absolutely. Think of it like this. You can have the most detailed architectural plans for a magnificent building, but until the builders meticulously construct each level, lay every brick, and connect every wire, it's just plans on paper. Our blueprint is currently on paper, and we need to become the master builders of our own unshakable confidence.
So, how do we start building that structure? What are the key elements we need to focus on to ensure all these learned skills actually stick and work together?
The first, and perhaps most crucial, step is that of conscious practice. We've talked about belief, competence, and resilience. These aren't just concepts, they're muscles that need regular exercise. Remember our discussion on the competence-confidence loop? This is where it truly comes into play. Each small win, each skill you consciously practice, whether it's using assertive body language, reframing negative thoughts, or stepping slightly outside your comfort zone, builds a little more competence. And that competence, in turn, feeds your belief.
So it goes back to episode 4, the competence-confidence loop, where we emphasize that competence fuels confidence. It's like saying, I can do this because I've successfully done something similar before and I've learned from it.
Exactly. And it's also about intentional repetition. It's not enough to do something good once. We need to weave these practices into our daily lives. We discussed daily habits in episode 10. What were some of the key takeaways there?
Oh, I remember. That was about creating those consistent actions that reinforce our confidence. Like starting the day with a positive affirmation, spending a few minutes practicing mindfulness, or setting small, achievable goals. The idea was to make these actions as routine as brushing our teeth, so they become second nature.
Precisely. And this ties directly into reinforcing positive self-talk. Episode 5 was all about taming that inner critic. When we build new habits, our old, critical voices might try to creep back in. Conscious practice and intentional repetition give us the ammunition to counter that. When the critic says, you'll fail, you can counter with, I've prepared, I've practiced, and I have the skills to handle this, drawing on the competence you've actively built.
That's a powerful reminder. It's not just about doing, it's about actively reframing how we speak to ourselves while we're doing or preparing to do. And what about resilience? We covered that in episode 2 and revisited it particularly when talking about rejection in episode 6.
Resilience is the bedrock of unshakable confidence. Life will inevitably throw curveballs. You will encounter setbacks, face rejection, and experience moments of doubt. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from these challenges, not just to survive them, but to learn and grow stronger. Integrating resilience means accepting that failure is a part of the process. It means not letting a single misstep define your entire journey. Remember how we talked about viewing challenges as opportunities for learning?
Yes. Instead of thinking, this is terrible, I'm not good enough, we shift to, okay, this didn't go as planned. What can I learn from this experience to do better next time? It's about cultivating that growth mindset we touched upon.
Exactly. And this leads us to another critical integration point, embracing discomfort. Confidence isn't about never feeling fear or anxiety. It's about feeling those emotions and choosing to act anyway. Episode 7 on public speaking and Episode 8 on social anxieties are perfect examples. We can't grow if we always stay in our comfort zone. Integrating confidence means periodically, intentionally stepping into situations that feel a little bit uncomfortable, knowing that each time we do, our comfort zone expands.
So, the discomfort itself becomes a signal of growth. It's like a little alarm bell that says, you're stretching yourself, you're learning. That's a much more empowering way to look at it than seeing discomfort as something to avoid at all costs.
Absolutely. And to truly integrate this, we need to actively celebrate progress, no matter how small. Episode 11, Building Your Confidence Portfolio, was all about this. Keeping track of your successes, your efforts, your learned lessons provides concrete evidence of your growth. When you're feeling low, looking back at your portfolio, your collection of wins, big and small, can be incredibly motivating. It's a tangible reminder of your journey and your capabilities.
It's like keeping a journal of your achievements, from writing down that challenging presentation you aced to acknowledging the time you spoke up in a meeting when you usually wouldn't. It all counts.
It all counts. And finally, the ultimate integration is developing self-awareness. This means constantly checking in with yourself. How are you feeling? What triggers doubt or insecurity? What actions are genuinely boosting your confidence? This ongoing self-reflection, informed by all the tools we've discussed, allows you to adapt your approach. It ensures your confidence isn't rigid, but flexible and responsive to your needs and the situations you face.
So, to recap our integration strategy: conscious, deliberate practice of learned skills, intentional repetition to build habits, reinforcing positive self-talk to counter the inner critic, cultivating resilience to bounce back from setbacks, embracing discomfort as a sign of growth, celebrating every degree of progress, and maintaining ongoing self-awareness. It's a holistic approach.
It truly is. And by weaving these elements together day by day, you create an internal system, a true confidence blueprint that supports you consistently. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. It's about understanding that confidence is not a destination, but a continuous process of growth and self-discovery. You are the architect, the builder, and the ever-evolving inhabitant of your most confident self.
And that, Alex, is a truly empowering thought to end the series on. We've equipped our listeners with the knowledge and the strategies. Now it's up to them to build their own unshakable foundation.
Indeed, it has been an absolute pleasure guiding you through the confidence blueprint. Remember, the power to build genuine, lasting self-assurance resides within you. Go forth and build it.
Thanks for listening to this series.